All right, welcome everybody. This is another training video from Next Technologies, and in this video we're going to go over how to use and operate your NVR. If you have purchased an NVR from us and you have a direct control, meaning you have a monitor and a mouse hooked up directly to your recording unit, then this video is for you. We also have other videos that train you on how to use our smartphone app for our surveillance system and the desktop software that is not covered in this video. Those are separate videos. You can find them on our website and our YouTube page. Okay, so here you have your main landing screen. This is what you're gonna see when you boot up your NVR. This is a 16 channel NVR. Yours may be different. Yours may be a 4, an 8 channel. However, for training purposes, I have this 16 channel NVR with a single camera hooked up to it just for training purposes. So let's go ahead. You're at your main screen here. If you would like to enlarge your image on live view, you can just double click it right there. It'll go to full screen. You have all your menu controls, PTZ control. If you have a pan tilt zoom camera, this one is not, but this is how you would control a motorized camera to zoom in, out. Go left, right, and up, down. By clicking anywhere on the screen, I can get back to this menu. Start local recording. This is if you have something you want to record right now. However, we're already set up so that any human or vehicle that passes by the camera will start recording using its smart analytics. This is if you want to go to instant playback. So we can go ahead, press that there, and boom, it's going to start instantly playing back footage, and you can stop that right here. This is if you want to just really quickly see what just happened. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to stop. Okay, as you can see, I have the same menu here in split screen mode. You will have this menu for each camera that you click on if you have more than one camera. Digital zoom is here, so let's go ahead and try that out. If you want to digitally zoom in, you're going to click that and you're going to draw a box around what you want to zoom into, and it'll digitally zoom in. And if you want to get out of that, just right click out. Now if we want to go to adjust the image config for the camera, this will bring us right to the image config right here. You see you have all your image settings if you want to change them: brightness, saturation, and contrast. So this is just a kind of a quick edit menu. All of these options are in the setup as well. Here's where you're going to take a snapshot if you want to just get a quick snap of a picture. And OSD, this is the camera OSD menu. So this is where you're going to name it, or you change the date format that it shows. So up here you can see it says camera. You want to name it a custom name, you put that in here. Time format, you can change this as well. So many options here on the quick menu. We'll keep going through. So this is if you have a speaker on it, you can start two-way audio and you can talk to people through the camera if your camera has a speaker. This one does not. And turn audio on and off. This camera does have a microphone. I'm not going to turn it on because I'll get a bad feedback loop and all you hear is screeching. Okay, so that goes over the quick menus. So let's go back over to here. So when you're in your live view here, you can change any of these options, and down here, if you go to the bottom, this is your menu icon. We'll go back there in a second. Here's your multi-window. So if you only want to see 4, go to 4. You want to see just one camera, go to single, and go to the one single camera, or all 16 if you have a 16 channel like this one is. So when you go to single window, actually it's going to ask you which camera you want to see, so I would click up here on my camera. But anyways, for training purposes, let's put this into 4 window mode. All right, you can go obviously to the next screen too. So let's say I have 8 cameras, but I have it in 4 window mode, but I want to see, and I'm looking at camera 1 to 4 right now. If I want to see camera 4 to 8, I press that there. Sequence, that is if you want to flash through the cameras. So maybe you want to view one camera at a time, but you want them to flip through in sequence. That's where you can do that there. Playback, that's just a shortcut to quickly get to the playback menu. If you want to use it that way, it's a quick way of telling. I'm not hooked up to the internet right now for this training video, but if you were here, you would not have that yellow exclamation point that you're seeing right there. So camera info, you can click that, and alarm status showing if the camera's in alarm or not. Okay, so let's go ahead and go to our menu. As you can see, when I click this, here's your options to shut it down, shut the NVR down, restart it, log out, playback. But we want to go to menu. When you get to your menu, you're gonna have, this is your landing page here, which is gonna show you in this camera section all the listed cameras, all the cameras connected to the NVR. That's how you can determine their IP addresses. So camera 1 that I have plugged in, there's my IP address, my protocol is OnVive, and it'll show you the camera model. Okay, moving along here, encoding. This is main and substream. So this is set at the max. It's currently a 5 megapixel camera. However, if you have an 8 megapixel camera, it will be a higher resolution, or you can lower the resolution of the camera here. I don't see why you ever would need to lower the resolution, but if you wanted to, it's right here. Image quality, so you can dial the image quality up if required. I'm going to leave mine at default, and here's your frames per second, and that is about all for this area. So that's called encoding. And we have a main and substream. I'll kind of quickly explain to you this. Like mainstream would basically be if you have just one camera showing on the screen, you're probably looking at it in mainstream. That's going to be your best image quality. Substream is going to be a dull downstream. So if you're looking at 16 cameras at once, you're most likely looking at the substream because it's a very small image, so it's not going to use a mainstream. And same thing when you're on your mobile device, if you're using an app and you're looking at them in a 4 split window, they're most likely going to be, you're looking at the substream. But when you double click and go into a single camera, you're going to be seeing the optimal image quality, which is referred to as mainstream. Okay, snapshot. This is just the settings of, you know, how you want the resolution if you click the snapshot button to save an image. OSD, we kind of touched base on that. So this is just a format readout of the time and date and the name of the camera that you see on the image. Okay, image. So right here, you're going to see illumination mode. This one's kind of important. So this one's set up as dual light right now because it's a dual light camera, meaning that it has traditional IR LED and it has a white light spotlight that's visible to the human eye. So dual light, when dual light is set up, basically what happens is at night, the infrared is going to be on, which is invisible to the human eye, and it's sort of your traditional night vision. However, if the camera picks up a person or vehicle, the white light is going to automatically shine on to give you a full color image at night, and it's going to really warn the person that they're being watched, because now all of a sudden they have a spotlight coming onto them from a camera. They know they have been detected. However, if I want to change this to white light mode, what would happen is that would mean that at night my white light is on all night long. So let's say there's an area in your property where you want to always have that light on for whatever reason. You want it to be illuminated. If you put it to white light mode, it will illuminate the white light all night long, and obviously turn off in the day. Or if you just want traditional infrared, you don't want a spotlight at all. Let's say it's in a place where you know, there's vehicles passing by and you don't want to blind drivers or something like this. You would want to change that to regular infrared mode. Control mode, manual, we want to change that to auto. That means that the camera is going to determine when to sort of go into night mode and you know, control that spotlight or not. So the camera will decide, and the camera can tell by the, you know, the illumination of the atmosphere. When there's not enough light, it's going to kick into its night mode. Okay, so you have a bunch of options here too in image enhancement, brightness, saturation, contrast, sharpness, noise reduction. And you can adjust these accordingly. These are kind of all self-explanatory. If you want to know what noise reduction is, that's if you have lines or static coming through your camera, you might want to increase that. I'm just going to leave it at default because it looks fine. Image rotation, and okay, that covers image enhancement. We'll go over to exposure. Exposure mode, custom. You can have compensation, adjust that there. I'm going to leave everything at default. Day night mode, I want to leave on automatic. I want the camera to again determine. And wide dynamic range, you can have this on if you want. This is referring to if there's if you got a camera in an area where one part of the screen is very light and the other is very dark, it's going to have trouble adjusting its brightness to, because it doesn't know. It says, do I want to concentrate on this light area, the dark area? It's just gonna kind of pick a setting, which might not look that great, like especially if you have sunlight shining in just one area and it's shady in another area. You'll want to turn this on then, and it will balance out. So it'll go, okay, this area is really bright, so I'm going to darken that area a bit, and this area is very dark, so I'm going to brighten up that area a bit, and it'll kind of balance itself out. You don't need wide dynamic range on in every scenario, obviously. This is just when you have you know, a lot of contrast, a very light area and a very dark area in the same spot. I want to leave everything on auto. These cameras are very good at determining what its settings should be. So when you can leave things at auto, just leave them on auto. And then defog mode, that's more if you live in a really snowy environment. It can kind of take away that foggy look that you might get if you're in a very, very cold and snowy environment. Okay, so that covers the image privacy mask. Of course, if you want to draw an area to black out, like you don't want to see a certain area, you can disguise it right there. Let's say, you know, part of your camera for whatever reason is shining into your neighbor's yard and you don't want to record or see the activity going on there. This is how you can block it out here. But we'll clear that for now. And PTZ, as I mentioned, this is for a pan, tilt, zoom camera. All right, let's go ahead and move on. VCA, this, depending on the kind of camera you have, VCA cameras are another analytical camera where you can draw lines, like line crossing rules, and say, you know, if a person walks across this line is heading in X direction, you know, I want to create an alarm. Or intrusion detection, if you want to draw a box around an area people aren't allowed into, if they enter into that area, you'll get a notification, the camera will go into alarm. So this is where you set up here. This is not a VCA camera. This is just an AI camera that can detect humans, and it can detect vehicles. And when it does, it'll start recording, and it can control the white lights, all that sort of thing. Network. All right, so here's where you're going to control your network. If you don't want DHCP enabled, you can put your own IP that you want the NVR to have right here, and the gateway of your router in here. And then if you go over to P2P, this is how you will connect to your phone. So you can scan this QR code right here, and it'll register into the GuardViewer app, and that's how you add it. If you got your system installed by us, that would have already been done for you. You can use a DDNS if you want remote access without having to use a IP address. You can set that up in here. And email, this is if you want to get email alerts. Most people don't, because it already alerts right to your phone with a message and tells you if something's in an alarm. We're not going to go through any of these advanced networking features in this video. Okay, let's go to system. Here's where you put your device name. So that would be the name of the NVR. You know, some people like to call it home or shop or what have you. Mouse pointer speed, I got that at the max right now. I think by default it's at the lowest. However, I like my mouse really touchy, so I put it all the way to the max. Enable password protection. Yes, we're going to want that. We don't want everybody to have access to our system in the world, so we want to have a very strong password that we use. Okay, preview. So let's say your cameras are not in the sequence or the order that you like seeing them, but you don't want to go to the back of the DVR and start yanking out cables and rearranging them. Well, you don't have to do that. You can change the order right here. So you can tell it, I want to see this camera and this camera here, and this is how you rearrange everything. So you can rearrange, maybe I want to see camera 4 in the top left corner. I'm going to change it over here. And it shows you all the different things. So like if I go into 10 window mode, I can rearrange it the way I want to see it in 10 window mode. Or if I go into 16 windows and have the one big camera showing here, well, I want that to be camera 15. This is where I do that there. All right, time, you can just set your time in here. You know, this is my time zone here, so that's where I'm setting it, and you can manually change the system time if you need to for whatever reason. Users, so you know, you'll have your administrative user that cannot be deleted. This has all the master settings, but you can add you know, you can add other users that, let's say, just have playback and record. That's all they can do. They can't or they just have live view and playback, but you don't want them to have any system options. This is where you'll add the user in here, and you will select the authority that you want to give them. It's going to have a bunch of boxes when you add the user, and it's going to ask you, what do you want this user to have access to? You'll set that up in here. Security, so this is different things like IP filtering. If you want to block out certain IP addresses, this is where you would do it here. I don't really need this because I've got a strong password on my NVR. Nobody's getting into it anyways, but you can do some of the advanced options in here. I'm not going to go over that in this video. Backup. Recording backup, of course, all my cameras are selected, and recording type all, file type all. I'm not going to touch anything here. It's kind of already set up the way I want it to be by default. So we don't need to change anything there. Storage, this is an important one. So here's my camera 1. I've deselected audio storage. So that means my camera is not recording audio right now. However, if I want it to record audio as well, I will click audio storage and apply that at the bottom. But I don't want that on this camera, so I'm going to uncheck it. Audio does take up extra disk space as well, so if you don't need the audio, you don't want to enable it. If you need the audio, go ahead and enable it. So normal, this is I've got it Monday to Sunday and holidays as normal record. What this means is it is recording all the time, no matter what, not just on motion. But however, when there is motion, like a vehicle or a person that it detects, it will record a second layer, so that when you go to play back, and I'll show you this in just a bit, you're going to have red lines and be able to see where the action is. Or a lot of people use this one, motion or alarm, and what that means is it doesn't record all the time, and it only records when there's motion or alarm. And this is good because it takes up way less disk space, and most people use that here. For the purposes of this training video, I wanted to show you sort of what normal is like in the playback, which we'll jump into in just a bit here. So you got a bunch of other options here too for your snapshots, your hard disk. Here's my disk right here. I got a 3 terabyte hard drive. If I want to format the drive and erase all the data, I will check right here and go to format right here. That will wipe my entire drive like it's brand new with no recordings. Okay, allocate disk space. Yeah, you can allocate disk space if you want. I'm not going to go into that in this video either. It's not something people use very often. Okay, let's go over to alarm. So here's my motion area. So it's enabled for alarm here. So this would be more for like regular motion alarm. So if you know, if there's something moving here, it'll pick up like a tree moving or whatever. I'll show you in the recording how these cameras, these artificially intelligent cameras, don't do that. They will know what you want to see. They're not going to record a moving branch, and I'll prove that to you in a second here. Sensitivity, that's how strong the motion has to be. And trigger actions, that's one that you'll want as well. So if you want your NVR to buzz when it picks up an alarm, you can do that here, or send an email, or pop up window, which means that it's going to show that camera pop up in full screen. And yeah, so you can set those settings here. Anything else here we need to go over? I don't think so, no. Okay, tampering, that's if you got a tamper switch on your camera. Video loss, yeah, we got that enabled. That's if your camera cuts out, you can trigger it to do an action, such as send you an email, go into alarm, pop up a window, etc. Arming schedule too is important. For any of these, you're going to see arming schedule. That means when it's going to trigger these actions, or when to look out for this action. Okay, input output. That is if you have an input and output on your camera built in. Let's say you have one input, one output, with a lot of the cameras do. This one does not. Then you can trigger an output, so you can, if it goes into the alarm, the camera picks something out, you can activate a siren, or you can activate a strobe light, or something like this. That will be done right here. This does not have an input output, this particular camera, but if it did, this is where I'd make my changes. So these would be your inputs, and D1 would be your output. Okay, alert and buzzer, IP conflict alert. That, we're not going to get into this stuff. That's not very important. Maintenance here. Again, this gives you your information about your recording unit, information about your camera, online user. That's just, who's connected and when. This is just more information based. Upgrade, if you got an upgrade, you can use a local USB to upgrade your device if there's new firmware out. Network info, this is going to show you basically the network activity. I'm not plugged in right now, but if I were, you would see a line going through here, how much traffic is going through with the World Wide Web. Okay, PoE port status. So you can see I only got one camera plugged in here, and it's drawing 2.5 watts. So it shows you your total power. You have 240 watts, and we have 237 watts remaining. Log, this is if you want to download the activity log. So you want to know who's been logging in and out of your NVR, what they've been doing, when it's been shut down, rebooted, when video's been pulled. You can kind of snoop right here on the activity of people who have been using the unit and what they've been doing. And it does come in handy sometimes for troubleshooting. Backup, this is just my USB disk right now I have plugged in. I'm going to show you when we back up. Okay, restored. Okay, factory defaults. This is if you want factory default your unit. Let's say you made a mistake, or you screwed up a setting and you don't know how to change it back, and it's not the way you want it, and you don't know what you did and you can't figure it out. Well, we can just factory default the unit, and it'll go right back to as if it was brand new. Won't get into auto function. Won't get any of this stuff today. Okay, let's go back to camera. That's about all I want to cover in the actual menu part of it. So let's right click here, and you can see you got everything you need right here basically. You can go to playback. We're going to get into that next. That's important. This is another one, light config. I like having that right here. And again, I have it on dual light. This is where you change it to suit your needs for the night vision. Okay, let's get into playback. This is the most important part. We need to be able to play back and pull footage. So I set up a camera temporarily the other day, just shooting out a window, just to give you guys an example of how this works. So we're gonna go to the 27th here, and this is what I set up, just poking out one of the windows just so I could kind of show you how this works. Obviously, you see cars driving by, it's picking them up, it knows it's a vehicle. So we need to know how to pull footage and review footage. So here's your activity graph here. I only had this camera set up for a few hours, or maybe half hour or so, maybe an hour, just for the purpose of making this video for you guys. But what we're going to do is, you can see this is not enough detail. This is hard to work with right here because it's showing the whole day. So I don't want to make this area bigger. And to do that, I'm going to go right here. So we're showing 24 hours right now. I want to make this bigger. Let's even go to like 10 minutes or something like this, right? Maybe that's a little bit too big, but if you really want to narrow in, that's how you do it right there. So let's go ahead and say we want to pull some footage. Here's this area here. So let's go. There's a lot of activity going on in these red areas. It's a busy road, so you're going to see a lot of cars driving by. And okay, yeah, there's one right there. So what we're going to do is, let's say I wanted to pull some footage of these vehicles driving by for whatever reason I need it for. Let's get even closer, zoom right in. Here's my cursor, okay? But what we're going to do is we're going to clip. So if I want this clip, I'm going to go start clipping. And then you're going to see these two red clippers show up. So let's drag this to where I want it. So let's say I want to pull this, you know, so I want it right about there. And I want this one. Sorry, my mouse speed is too fast for this. Let's just put it right, you know, right there. Okay, so that's the area that I'm going to pull a video file from. So now that I've clipped my area, I'm going to go to stop clipping. And then you see this, now it says new under file management. That means that it's taken that file and it's put it into a temporary folder or whatever where you can transfer to your USB disk. However, let's say I need two pieces of footage and I don't want to do it twice, so we can add multiple files. So let's clip another file. So start clipping, and let's clip you know, this area over here. So we'll go over to here, and we will take this one and we'll go over there as well. Oops, sorry about that. Oh, stop clipping. Okay, start clipping. And let's move that over here to this area. So that's going to be this area right here. So I'm going to go stop clipping. Okay, now I have multiple files to download to my USB folder. So what we're going to do is we're going to back this up. And before we do that, what I want to show you is on normal recording, these blue areas are the areas with no activity. So as you can see, I'm going to go to area with no activity. There's no cars driving by, and there's still the trees blown away, but it's not going to pick that up as an alarm because it already knows what a human and a vehicle is, and it's not going to you know, record for nothing. I have this, if you go to normal record, as I was showing you earlier, it's always recording everything, and then when it picks up activity of people or vehicles, it's going to go red like this. So the red is telling you, hey, look over here. However, if we were to go to the other recording option I showed you, which is motion or alarm, or sorry, event or alarm, then what you would get here, these blue areas would just not be there. They would just be black. And that's how you save disk space, right? You save a lot of disk space that way because you're not recording redundant information. And the way I have it set up here, we are recording the redundant information, but those are your two options. So most people just have it set for the motion and alarm, and I'll go back, I'll touch base back on that again in a sec. So okay, here's our files that we clipped. So we're going to go to this folder where it says new. We're going to click on it. So this one here, 89 megabytes, I think that one was let's say that was a mistake. We don't want that one, okay? But we want these three. So let's clip those three clips that we pulled, and we're going to go back up. Now I have a USB drive plugged into my unit, so it automatically detected my USB drive, and it goes, okay, you want it to this folder? And I say yes. So then I'm going to click backup, and as you can see, it's exporting the files to my USB drive. And you can then later, you know, pull that USB drive, plug it into your computer, transfer the files to your computer if you want, or email them, or put them on a online storage, whatever you want to do with them. That's how you do it right here. Okay, so that's how you pull footage. And we'll get right back to the main here. And I just wanted to show you once again in the menu here where it says storage. This, again, this is the important part. I had it set to normal, which is recording all the time, even the redundant information. If you want just when there's humans or vehicles around, you are going to go to motion alarm. And 95% of the time, that's what people are going to be using. Normal is if you just can't miss anything. You need to see everything. You need to see the trees blowing. You need to see, you know, the squirrels running by or the birds flying by. You'll put it to normal then. Okay, that's about it for this training video. I hope that helps you to operate your new system, and you're able to navigate now, and you're able to back up footage. If you do have any other questions, you can just reach us by email or the technical support on our contact page. Those are basically all the main features that usually people don't even use that many features, but you can get pretty in depth with this system. I just wanted to try and keep this video as short as possible to go over just the main features that you'll most likely be using. All right, thanks for watching this video, and we will see you in the next one.